I got you. I got her.
Hello.
There's Miss T.
How are y'all doing?
That pretty view down here.
So
Miss
nice
T.
to meet
Come
you
on.
too. My goodness, finally.
In the room, down here, to the right.
Look at her moving, rush. You said she
I got to come down here.
Right down here. His pastor said you were standing. You want to stand? You want to stand?
Oh, I'm standing. Yeah, definitely.
Because she know what to do.
Yeah.
you go.
Boy, you don't know how hard this is. I promise you, I'm being obedient right now.
She's running somewhere after.
Honey, running somewhere from too. It's
Oh
ridiculous.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, thank you. If anybody's there, I see a number from a distance. Welcome. Our Spirit Online, stellar nominee, best internet radio. We live Facebook. Come on, my sister. Oh, let me get my
And that's
headphones
the other
on.
thing. I've been on this radio show for.
Yes, hello.
Mic two, mic two. Mic two, mic two. Okay. Okay. It won't. It keep rising to the top.
She got to touch her stuff. That's what.
Is it? Oh, you wanted to drop down? But it's gonna be. It's gonna be in my face, Pastor.
Oh man.
But it's still.
I wanted to
gonna
go.
be in my
I
face.
wanted to go live,
Can I
and
do-
and
can I
I
do
done
right
left
there?
my phone in the car. Thank
Is that
God, shucks.
cool right there, Pastor? It's right in my mouth, Pastor. It's in my mouth,
You tired?
Pastor.
Look at you, about tired. You might look at her.
It's in my mouth, Pastor. It's in my mouth.
Everything already done started.
No, my live is started.
Okay.
Pastor, you started your live? You started your live on your... Okay.
And I didn't. My phone in the car. I think I need it though. What did he say? Is we ready?
You need to do my phone check. Can you hear me, Pastor? Am I good? Okay, we're here? Okay.
Microphone check a microphone check.
Microphone check.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing? We good. We're live. They got me back in the studio.
Come this way. Because we want to make sure that you're in all the devices that way.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. Go on,
All
Sister
right.
Aretha.
Thank you, Jesus. Father God, I just thank you for gathering us tonight for this purpose, for your purpose, Lord God. Thank you for us all being obedient and accepting your call and doing your will, God. We thank you for our Spirit Radio. We thank you for us being nominated, Father God, and we thank you in advance for us winning. We thank you, Lord God, for everything that you have prepared for us on tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Hi, welcome to Real Love and Healthy Relationships with your host, Miss Debbie Cakes, the originator of the 80-20 relationship rule for healthy relationships. Stay tuned as I have tonight in the studio with me, my special guest, and we're going to talk about the relationship emotional connection between stylists and their clients. Stay tuned.
If your headset is too loud, you can turn it down here.
You can't hear a ting. It's so loud. You hear me, right?
Oh yeah, you're good, but you can control your.
Loud.
A little more loud. We can turn our headsets.
Okay, I'm good there.
Is yours too loud?
Oh no, it's okay.
You okay?
A little bit. Turn
I
it
was
a little bit.
blaring.
Yes.
All right out there in Facebook land. Stay tuned as my powerful ladies
Okay,
here in
now
the
you're-
studio as we get it in, because we've been waiting to ask these stylists about these special secrets and these special things that are shared with them. We're going to talk about how do they handle that. All right, ladies. Hey there, our spirit dot online. Thank you so much for tuning in with me, your host, Miss Debbie Cakes. And tonight we're going to have my two special guests, hairstylists here in the Rock. And our conversation is going to be about their relationships and the emotional connection that they have with their clients. Now, we know that hairstylists being women, but there are also men and barbers out there that probably, experience this as well, ladies.
Yes.
But what I want you to do, first and foremost, is share with me who you are, what's your, your shop, your years of experience, and let's at least introduce the audience to who you are. So let me start on my left with you.
Good evening. My name is Karis Brown. I'm the owner of Brown Beauty Salon. I have been professionally styling hair for about 4 years now, and I love what I do. I love my clients.
Okay. And now, what is your special style? I mean, what services do you offer?
The services that I offer are protective styling. So with natural hair care, anything to really protect your natural hair and get it growing healthy again, that's what I specialize in. That's what I'm all about.
Okay. And so now to my right here in the audience, in the studio, I want you to introduce yourself and do the same.
My name is Aretha, Miss T, McLemore. Everybody knows me as Miss T. The name of the salon is Perfection to a T. It was Perfection to a T, Salon and Gifts. This year, I've changed the name to Tavage Presents. I've been in the industry for 29 years, owner and operator. I specialize in healthy hair in all types of styles, protective styles, weaves, relaxers, cuts, color, you name it. That's who I am. I love what I do.
So you name it, they gonna claim it.
That's right.
Now, I want to make sure that the audience is aware, especially my Facebook Live audience knows. Miss Perfection to a T actually came up with the name doing my hair.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute
See,
now.
she keeps wanting to forget that.
Wait a minute. No, I did. Wait a
But
minute.
I can't forget that.
Tell me about the story, because I know how the story went. I can't remember the person that was in the chair when I came up with the name, but if she can tell me the story, I'm going to let her have it. Tell me the story.
You was on Lake Avenue?
Yes.
You were on Lake Avenue, and you were curling my hair.
Right.
And you were doing a curl.
Right.
And you rolled that curl, and, just gentle conversation.
Yeah.
You was like, this is perfection to a T.
Ooh.
And I was like, hold up. And you was like, actually, that's what I'm going to call the shop. Now, we might have was talking about a whole lot of other stuff.
Oh, my
That's all I
goodness.
care to remember.
You know what? Okay. All right. So I'm going to fill in the blanks.
There
She's
you
not
go.
going to find out. So I don't know. She might have been in the studio, but I'm going to say she was in the chair.
I was in the
Okay,
chair.
so this is what happened. I had a whole list of names that the clients were choosing for me because I was working with somebody else in it. So it was Nutbush and Grand Style, Grand Finale, stuff like that. And so when I did, I'm going to say Deborah's hair.
Thank
She
you.
didn't like the bang. So she said, I love my hair, but I want the bang changed. And then after I changed it to bang, she said, now that's perfect to a T. And I said, hold up. That's the name of my salon.
There we go.
So
That makes
that's
sense.
how the name was created.
Oh my goodness! I didn't realize I did it. I just remembered I was in the chair.
Look,
It was my
I didn't
hair.
realize she did it either, but if she say she did,
That's right,
I'm
she
going to
did.
touch and agree with
There
her.
you go.
You
You
wondering
did it, Miss
all
Deborah.
these years.
I knew
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a woman in the chair. That's what I
Oh.
said. I said a lady said.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who the lady was. All right, thank you.
Forgot
baby.
all
Yeah,
about
you was here the
little
whole
old me,
time.
little old me. But it's so funny because I actually, as many stylists do, as customers, we're out here trying to figure out who can we trust.
Oh.
The mane of our hair, the beauty, the crown of a woman's head. Who can we trust? So we're always looking at someone else's hair
Yes.
to figure out how that style is and who did your hair. And so a lot of time your relationships start there.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Referral is huge for you, for your business,
Yes.
huge for your brands.
Mhm.
So today, what I really want to get into, because the show is really about healthy relationships,
Right.
and I know that many of you may not know, and if you do, Brown Beauty Karis is actually my daughter in love. She's my daughter through marriage, and next week we're actually going to have a conversation with her dad on the blended family.
Oh my God.
Your daddy's coming, girl.
Awesome.
But tonight, though, the biggest conversation is really going to be about Karis has come to me. She was like, I can't do this no more.
Oh my goodness.
I'm emotionally, psychologically,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just drained
Mm-hmm.
because people share their intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the heartfelt, the joys.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to start with T because
Mm-hmm.
she's what you started with the opening.
Absolutely.
I wanted to be able to have you share, you know, just your overall taking experience when your clients are sitting in the chair and they're actually all of a sudden, how does that start for you? And what happens when they're sharing something that they just break down in tears?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's deep.
Yeah, absolutely.
From the moment a client walk in, you kind of get a feel for that client.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're coming in for their hair, but I always kind of knew that every client is going to impact my life in some type of way, and I'm going to impact theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you try not to get close. You try to keep it
Professional.
professional, right?
Yes.
Professional.
Yes.
But like you said, clients do. We're behind the chair,
Mhm.
so they're not looking right into our faces, so they get to pour out,
Yes.
and we
Yes.
get to listen and take in, right?
Yes.
And you're right. Some women do. They come in and they break down. Something that I learned to read, right? Just from doing so many women.
Yes.
You'll be able to attest to this
Thank
real
you.
soon.
Oh yeah.
A certain sigh. Women come in and they sigh, right?
Oh my.
Okay, so I started reading sighs based off of what they tell me when I hear that type of sigh, right?
Mm.
So when somebody sit down and they go,
Oh yeah.
I say, what's wrong, baby? 9 times out of 10 is I'm tired,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Then you get the,
Mm.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
mom,
true.
what's wrong?
That's
It's
true.
like,
Goodness.
girl, oh my God, I am overwhelmed,
That's
right?
good stuff.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So then the one with the breakdown, y'all listen to me clearly now.
Mm.
I would hear,
Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
and I say,
Jesus.
what's
I thought it
wrong?
was just me.
And they'll cry. And it's like, I'm really going through a
Jesus.
lot. And you know, you're behind them.
Yeah.
So they don't know
Absolutely.
you. They don't know your circle.
Yes.
They just know that this person is behind me. I can't look in their face. They don't know my circle and I can trust them.
Yes.
And that's a
yes.
big weight for us. That's something special for us to
Mm.
carry.
Oh my goodness.
Right?
Amen.
And although we do share some of these stories, you just don't tell who, what, when. You just say a woman sat in my chair today
Yes.
and she's been abused.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. Yes.
And you pray for them.
Mm.
If they're open to prayer.
Absolutely.
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 You pray for them internally.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You
Yes.
pray while you're shampooing their hair.
Yes.
You pray while you're curling their hair. You put on some Our Spirit music.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
if the person will receive that. Most
Yes.
people do.
Yes.
Back in the days, Mary J. Blige was helpful a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Women going
Yeah.
through pain. You put on
Yeah.
something that can lift them up.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
And that's it. And you try to give them 110% of you emotionally, mentally,
Ooh.
and then professionally.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Right. And that's a
Yes.
struggle
Yes.
because,
It
you know,
is.
that's, you have you, but then you have you're pouring in.
Mm.
Yeah.
And what about you, Karis?
You know what I've experienced is when my clients hit the door, just like you
Mhm.
said, when they're at the door, I like to embrace my clients with a hug first, just so that they know that they're at home.
Mhm.
And so walk them to the chair, get to know them a little bit so that they feel comfortable in my chair. And as you said, them sitting behind us, they're in their most vulnerable state.
Yeah.
They're already coming to us with issues with their hair and their needs. And so they're trusting our knowledge base, they're trusting the atmosphere that they're in,
Mhm.
and trusting that we're going to keep them safe in that time.
That's right.
So what I found is as soon as, we get ready to take their hat off and get them in the shampoo bowl, and like you said, those sighs,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a sign that they're getting ready to let it out.
That's right. That's
And that's
right.
my favorite part of the service. I love that, connecting with clients.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't mastered the ability of, as you said, keeping a professional line,
Professionalism.
because I take everyone in as family, and as everyone's
Yeah,
close to my heart.
Yeah.
And so I internalize a lot of things without leaving it right there in the shop. I take it home.
Yes.
And when they're going through things, I'll stop. We both crying together.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
we're not,
Oh, yeah.
So that kind of delays things. But we also stop for prayer as well if they're
Uh-huh.
really going through a few things. But I found it is a heavy weight at times,
It is.
because I don't know how to just be the mentor and encourage them, just honestly speaking,
Yeah.
and just leave it that way.
Mhm.
Because I'm like, no, what can I do to help them? I'm on the phone calling.
Right,
I'm like, what resources can I give
Right,
you?
Right.
And
right.
they love it. They leave there, they're satisfied, they're happy, they feel fulfilled.
Right.
But then when I go home to, parent my children and
Mhm.
take off the hat of being a stylist,
Mhm.
now I'm left with the weight,
That's right. Yeah.
And that's where I have to leave it in God's hands. I
Absolutely.
have to have my prayer life strong enough to be able to release those things, because it's heavy.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
One of,
It's heavy.
one of the things I wanted to do when I was thinking about what
Mm.
kind of show I wanted tonight, that's why I went with the seasoned stylists
Mm.
and then
I
the
love
young
that.
and the
Yeah, I
new
love that
stylists.
too.
Because what people don't realize, even in your profession, it's a struggle trying to build your client base.
Okay.
It's a struggle to market. It's a struggle to
Yeah.
build a client base. But then, you guys have a profession that it's tried and true. There's always going to be somebody who want to get a hair done, whether it's
yeah.
once a month,
Exactly.
whether it's once a year.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a business that people seek you out compared to, I need help, but who do I go to? And that's that part that's a challenge. So so some of the things I know I've seen Karis do over the years is she say, Mom, where's your business cards? Or I want to put up a wall of business cards, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in building up our communities and being able to really pour out and minister, because you guys have stuff from a stylist to being really involved in ministry.
Absolutely. That's exactly.
You
It's a
know, those
ministry.
of us who are walking in the Christian faith, those of us who take that charge of wanting to be Christ-like in every aspect of our lives, it includes your business, and it includes that you have the ability, being the owners, to set the tone.
Oh, yes.
I know that many times, Karis being a new stylist, she's trying to find people to be in her chair, no more than I know you have done so in the past, T. And sometimes, Karis, I had to let them go. And you know, I'm sure you struggle. Is it the money, or do I really want to create an atmosphere that fulfills the you know the aura that I want my clients to feel safe? And what came to my mind, T, when you were speaking, was they're behind you and they're in front of you. It's like a mini confessional.
It is. It really is.
I never saw it as that.
Absolutely.
But it's like that mini confessional because they don't have, there's no eyesight, there's no eye connection, there's no face to face. You don't get to see them tearing up. But because they trust you with their hair, they're entrusting you at that moment to just purge. You know, we know as women, we like to vent. We're venters. You know, so sometimes it's that gentle cry that we just need to release just so that we can walk away and that burden isn't on our heart anymore at that moment. It's just at that moment. So I think sometimes you might want to be able to carry, what comes to mind for me with you is, you know, say, you know, are you okay? You know, are you interested in any kind of referral services? So that maybe the next time you come back, then I can maybe have a list of some people you can reach out to, because that may not be your charge.
That's right. That's right.
But you have a heart and a compassion to want to connect and to provide something for them. Ms. T, what have you found for you that works in that capacity?
Okay. When somebody come to me with something, you mean like an issue that's very heavy,
Right.
something that I'm carrying.
Right. How do you deal with it's so overwhelming and being able to release them? You know, how do you compartmentalize? Because I'm hearing Karis is struggling with that a little bit.
Okay.
That's tough, right?
I don't want to sound hardcore, but I mean, for years, she knows firsthand. You try to keep people at arm's length, right? And people will say things like, you know, she's not compassionate enough, or nothing like that. But like you said, it takes up time. So as you build your clientele, where you're putting in this extra time with a person because of what they're going through, you won't have that genuine time if you got 12 people.
Come on.
You understand what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So you want to build your client base because time is money.
Yes,
But
it
at the
is.
same time, you do have compassion. You do love this person, or you love, you know, to help. You would love to help.
Yes,
Before
yes.
you love them, you love them as a person, you love them as a sister, but at the same time, you have to keep it professional, and you have to say, you know, maybe we can talk later, or maybe I can find some referrals for you. And some situations are mental, you know, and I used to feel like I needed to go back to school to get some mental health counseling to be able to give the proper words. So I kept myself praying, reading scriptures, trying to read motivational books just so I can say something powerful to help that person. But at the same time, you can't help but take it home. You know, even some situations where a woman will get in your chair and tell you something outlandish, like I just caught my husband. You take that straight home looking at your husband. You know, and don't let you have met the husband and he's passionate and caring and kind.
I'm telling you, that's right.
So there's certain situations that you don't ask for, but I truly believe that the Lord placed it there for you to be able to pray for that person and for you to be able to take that thing and, you know, create something special out of it for the person the next time they come.
That's right.
What I'd like to, as you know, so I started these, you know, shows so that, one, I have to market my brand as a relationship coach. And the one thing that I do know is that, especially in our urban communities, if people don't trust you, they're not coming. If someone can't refer you, they're not coming. What I will share with you is that it's been a struggle for me to even get testimonies from people because it's such an intimate piece of their life that they were going through writing the testimony so that I can share and get more clients is a struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Because I am dealing with
They don't want to be
emotional,
exposed.
psychological,
Yes.
you know,
Think
all
about
exactly. So as a business, as a client, as a coach, that becomes a struggle for me. So I have to show the expertise of me.
Right.
But what I want to encourage you, especially those of you in the audience, those of you who are counselors who have your own business, let me say this. If you have your own business and you're looking to be able to determine, and you are faith-based and you love the Lord and you really consider your business not just a business but an opportunity to reach God people and to uplift his people, seek out professionals. Even if you have to interview them, I really believe in the community. We have to start building a network within ourselves, and we have to start looking out externally and look internally, because there's so many people, educated, skilled, that have a skill set that we can bring to the table to uplift us. And so I want you to be able to consider that, because it is a charge and a challenge for you to deal with that weight. And I know, because Karis has small kids.
Oh, yes.
And so they want your time as soon as you hit the door.
They wear me down.
And then T is married. The husband wants the time as soon as you hit the door.
I got a preteen. I got a 14-year-old.
So see, that's the
I
same.
mean, and then, okay, going back to what you were saying, seeking out professional women, that's good, and that will help us with our networking, and that will keep the salon, you know, have a certain environment. But at the same time, there are so many pain people, and people, when I say pain, you know, you got these girls that's been out here in the community that haven't been helped, and the only place that they won't come to church, and the only place that they can get any type of help is in our chair. They will come get a yellow weave. We don't really.
That's right. No, you're right.
We don't typically want to do it, but at the same time, that's room for you to minister.
Right.
That's right.
But
that's
some
right.
people that come seeking those type of styles are also in need of uplifting, and they need education, and they need to be walked toward a church. They need to be walked toward a college.
Very
you know,
true.
they may have dropped out in the 3rd grade because
Very
their
true.
parent was on drugs and they had to raise their other children, their other siblings, and now they're 38.
That's so common.
So they
That's
need,
so
I mean,
common.
it's very common. And I find myself meeting a whole, and I thank God for where I am right now. I mean, I'm a seasoned hairdresser that's been talking about retiring for 2 years, right? And here recently, I've been meeting middle-aged women that are still at a standstill and in desperate need of spiritual guidance, financial guidance, parenting skills, and they come to the salon to find it.
It doesn't stop.
You know what I mean? So it's a whole new wave, and I'm saying, Lord, what is this?
I see.
And
What is this?
I think a great deal of it does have to do with social media. Social media is a curse and is a blessing, and all, and it's all in its entirety. In that, you know, the world is trying to get us to move away from our faith-based principles, but we are trying to stand firm in our faith-based principle, because we know how far we've gone. We know what the Lord has delivered us from those situations. We have been there. We have gone there. We don't want you to go through that no more, but we want you to entrust us enough so that you can hear what we share. So that if for nothing else, let me plant a seed. Let me be a seed planter, so that, because I may not see you again. You know, it was the wisdom of our elders. They planted seeds. Jesus gave parables, because there were some people who couldn't take it straight. Black and white wasn't enough. He had to give it. He had to plant it. He had to give it to us in a parable. So sometimes we do have to tell the story. Sometimes we do need to pat our back. But we need to create and establish a faith-based networking where we can entrust our brothers and sisters and know they will be cared for.
You know, I hear people saying that you don't have that, but you do have genuine spirit. And the thing is, some people just want you to listen. And as you listen, you grow to know a lot of things from a lot of different people. And her story that you hear from her can help the next woman. So that is your experience for the next person. So everything you take in, you know, and I always take notes mentally, and then I try to teach the girls that work in my salon. If Delbert come in and talk about her son's fiance, in a good way or a bad way, when she come back, I say, "How's Karen?" And you know, they like that.
Because
You know what I mean?
you're paying attention.
That's
Absolutely,
right.
you're
Absolutely.
paying
know,
attention.
Connecting.
That's right. That client is going through, you go home, you pray about that, you study on what you talk about, and then about 6 months later, another client will walk in with that same issue, and you can say,
You're not just talking about right. That's right.
you know, that's your experience from person to person,
I like that.
journey
I
after
like
journey.
that.
What I would also want to make sure that I can emphasize as a relationship coach, really as that person's trying to be bold and step into the space of a professional, that as they're working on their outer beauty, what kind of tools are we giving them to build their inner, to help them to build up that strength? And that's where sometimes you may not have that, and that may not be your charge. But what can we do to find those professionals that it can be their charge? You know, so T, what about you? Other than what Karis mentioned.
No, that's tough.
What have been some beautiful things that people have shared with you?
Beautiful things. Okay, let's look at it from the dirt up. When somebody, I like to, go with things that when somebody plant a seed, right? They'll come in and tell me, my marriage is not going well. I'm thinking about leaving this man. We've been together 30 years and it's just not working. And I've always come up with some crazy strategies, y'all, right? And I'm like, well, did you make him any cookies lately? It's like, I've never baked cookies.
Oh, there it is.
I hope he can't hear us. But it's like, I have told people straight up, point blank, just, not knowing what to say, but I've always been very comical and loving in my delivery.
Absolutely,
so I recall telling a young woman who told me her husband wasn't paying her any attention, they wasn't being physical the way it used to be. And I said, when the last time you baked them some cookies?
Come on now.
And she's like, I don't know. I said, do we eat chocolate chip cookies? She's like, yeah. I said, well, how about when he come home today, you be standing in front of the stove with just an apron on.
Oh, there it is right there. Listen.
I mean, and my client was like, gee, and so she went from being bent, broken, crying, to cracking up laughing and thinking of a creative way to get her husband attention.
I like that.
And then she come back and tell me, T, that worked, and we went out, we got counseling, and now we're together and we're staying together. So that's what I mean from the dirt up. She was ready to bury that thing, right? And then with something that simple and just me praying with her and creating a laughter for that situation, come back and tell me they're gonna stay together and get counseling. So, I just think
it's good to hear that, doesn't it?
Right.
It's like I contribute to something.
Right.
What's really interesting as a coach, and as since I wrote the book, If I Can't Be the Cake, I
Hey,
Will Be the Crown.
hey.
It really is a step through of trying to define and understand people.
Right.
So what I heard in the story you just gave me, T, was she said her husband said, you don't touch me, or she said that.
She said she wasn't getting any love and affection.
She wanted affection, and then they weren't physical.
Right.
That's a love language. Right. So what she was asking for was closeness, touching. And it's not, and I think your love language is serving, and you're a baker. And you know a baker.
Exactly.
So you're going to give them that. And you're going to give them that. But God interceded.
Right.
And in the midst of her doing that, maybe it created an atmosphere where they talked.
Right.
And then they were able to seek counseling. Because counseling is something that is so greatly needed, but it has to be in an environment where you're trusted.
Right.
So, but when we know how to hear what people are asking for and determine what they need, not just what we want to give them, we can do both. We can do both. What's amazing in the God that we both all serve is that He interceded. He allowed you to be able to give her that encouragement to give you one more day, one more moment. But then as they talked, they realized He saw her heart and her effort.
That's right.
And that made him realize, I'm willing to step out one more time. And that may have been the encouragement that they needed. So in tonight's segment, it really was about how, the establishment of these relationships. So as a woman who rarely goes to get her hair done, I'm that contrary client y'all like.
Keep it together.
Because I'm that logical, analytical, I'm worried about my money, I'm worried about my business, I'm worried about I'm that person that, beauty has never been on the forefront because it wasn't for me as a teen.
Right.
My mama worked, I was trying to work, I wanted to have fat, my mama said no. I wanted to have Jerry curl, my mama said no. I wanted a muscle shirt. My mama said no. She took 86, everything of me that it could have turned into affirmation, and I just wanted to work.
Right.
But my language is serving. I'm a server. I'm a doer, and I'm a be there for you. I'm that person that people call when they want you to hold it down. But I'm also that client that comes in your shop, and I got my book because I got stuff I'm working on, and I got stuff to do.
Right.
And I'm like, we ain't got to talk.
Right.
We ain't got to have that relationship.
We gotta have that. But you know what, Deborah? That's a relationship too.
That is. You're right.
Because we have those clients that we talk to spiritually. We have those clients that we don't talk to at all.
Yes.
Except hello, and that's fine with me.
That's fine.
But just know that's our relationship.
Right.
It's like your best
Yes,
friend.
I
Oh
love
my
it. I
God.
love
You are
it.
my sister from another
Right.
mister and mother. We're going to go out. I'm going to call you every 3 months, every quarter.
Mhm.
But I have pure and adulterated love in my heart for you because you love me for who I am and I you.
Oh, yeah.
Right, right,
So
right.
it's one of those things. But what I want to
Right.
encourage you in your business
Mhm.
is don't box people in.
Mhm.
Sometimes people want to give you what makes them comfortable, but it don't make them comfortable.
I need you to explain that.
Yeah, I get a piece of that.
So
but
I
yeah.
had a stylist. She was doing my hair,
Mhm.
and I'm married, and she was married, but she had shared that one time. So she was going through something with her husband. Her mama had always said, "Submit to your man, no matter what." And I was like, I'm Miss 80/20. If I can't submit every day, all day, we got problems. I had to define what makes it important to
That's
me.
good. Yeah.
She was trying to pour on me like you, baking the cookies.
Mhm.
Submit to your man, never turn him down. And my coaching hat came in, and I said, well, let me ask you something. Was there ever a time where you wasn't happy that you did that? And she shared there was a time where he ended up hurting her.
Right.
And I said in that moment, your mama tried to give you something to help you to sustain your marriage.
Right.
Because that's what they gave us, because that's what they knew.
Mhm.
But as we're maturing into 2020, as we're maturing into social media and online presence, there's books, everybody's publishing stuff.
Mhm.
Let us grow into a time of defining who we are,
Mhm.
understanding who you are,
Mhm.
and respecting one another's differences if that's the case.
That's right.
Because birds of a feather will flock together.
Mhm.
But I might flock with you. I just may be way, way far behind
Right.
because we're not on the same playing field.
Right.
And that's really what I mean by that. That sometimes, putting the work in because you would like to minister, you would like to pour in, find those tools that you can identify who they are and their differences
Mhm.
and speak to that to them.
Mhm.
But I believe I've seen a shift in a lot of people where they are seeking out counselors.
Oh,
They are seeking out
yeah.
coaches.
Big
The
time.
problem is they don't realize you got to pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
That money, that costs money, and you can't get insurance. But I want to thank you ladies for coming tonight. I know you thought it was going to be so painful, so
No,
many people
like
here.
that.
But I think this has been amazing for our audience. So tune in next week as we talk about blended families with Mr. and Mrs. Debbie Cakes here on ourspirit.online.
That's cool.
Thank you. That's it. Hey,
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was great. My dad is coming. Dad gonna be. I can't believe that. What did you do again? I don't understand.
He loves me.
Oh, that's what That's true. My
Okay,
dad
so
don't do nothing.
you're married to her father.
Yes,
I
yes, ma'am. Yeah.
She was saying you was married to her son.
Oh no.
I thought you said daughter-in-law.
I said daughter-in-law.
Daughter-in-law. Okay,
That was
okay,
something
okay,
that's
all
for
right,
somebody
okay.
else somewhere. So you
All
can fly
right.
from my play, Miss T.
man.
Put them up in your
I wish you would
shot.
stop having them on Thursdays.
Look.
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
It's a Wednesday show. My show on Wednesday. See? Well, now what? Now what? Hello, everybody. Thank you guys who were able to tune in. Please leave me some comments. Get in touch with me. Stay tuned next week. Thank you, guys.
I'm still working.
Hey, Cynthia from Georgia. I see you. Hey, Cousin Vicky. Hey, Miss Chloe. She always loved coloring.
Oh my God.
Girl, her cut is always on T. All right.
Love it. All right, come on now.
Here go my ladies in the clique. Gotta get out. Pastor